Hey, good afternoon, good evening, good morning, depending on what time zone you're in. Thanks for coming today. I'm Rob McDougall. I'm the CEO of UpstreamWorks Software, and we're going to talk today about improving customer experience using chatbots. A few things I want to hit: just why are people using bots, why they matter. Talk about how chatbots are used and the various types of chatbots, how to manage chatbot assets, and how UpstreamWorks helps in this entire process. Starting off looking at just some of the trends around customer experience, a lot of businesses are implementing artificial intelligence into their business operations, 30% by 2020, which is coming up very quickly. Looking at automating at least one of their primary sales processes. AI, from everybody you talk to, is probably the only thing people talk about more than cloud these days. There's a lot of interest, a lot of misunderstanding of what AI does as well, so we'll address some of that. 64% of people, or organizations, understand, though, that even if you're going to be putting in all this self-service stuff, you have to be able to help the customers with what they need, and if they need to talk to an agent, they have to be able to talk to an agent. That's super important. And lastly, 70% are looking at these technologies to reduce contact volumes. Virtual customer assistants look to save the organization money and attempt to maintain the level of customer experience that people are looking for in this day and age. So chatbots is the narrower subject. There's a sort of a broader subject, which is, and going from the right to the left, chatbots, which is really a customer-friendly user interface for some sort of back-end artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence that's typically driven by machine learning. There are some people that have what's called algorithmic AI, which is basically they're just doing programming to feed information back. But AI is the brain behind the chatbot, if you will, and it can be used for more than just chatbots. There are other uses of AI in a contact center and in a business. And driving all of this stuff is the analytics, the data that you've got to be able to support that AI so that the AI can learn what it needs to do and be able to do things properly, and so that you can manage that AI and understand whether or not it's doing the things that it's supposed to be doing. If you look at the world of AI and chatbots today, the easiest form of this is what I would call a guided discourse, where there's no free-form chat going on. There's basically some options that are provided. This is the equivalent of press 1, press 2, press 3 on the IVR. And you can do that with a guided discourse to say, what are your options? And then use the back-end chatbot to start bringing up information out of knowledge bases or things like that. So it's not really understanding what the customer's asking in freeform, but it is providing sort of the bot type interface and giving much better information back. If you step up from that, you start looking at keywords and lookups. So understanding if someone says credit card, they want information about a credit card somehow, and then if they say interest rate, they want to know about interest rates on credit cards, and they can use those keyword lookups to start doing back-end lookups of information to be able to deliver that back to the customer. These are just new ways of providing the kind of information you might be providing on a web page today, but in a more conversational manner. Where you get into things that are more complicated is when you start looking at natural language processing and lookups. So now I can type in more of a directed sentence, and the natural language processing and understand a little bit more about that sentence and do some lookup of some information and maybe understand that, hey, I have to request some more details or drive myself further down my decision tree before I know what to deliver back, but using natural language processing to really drive through that decision tree and figure out what needs to be looked up. Lastly, what you have is conversational AI. And conversational AI, again, there's a broad spectrum of what can be considered conversational AI. And unfortunately, when I talk with a lot of people in the industry, practitioners in the contact center space, conversational AI is like HAL on 2001. Like I can talk to it and it talks back to me. Conversational AI of that nature, from the experts I've talked to, is 20 years out in the future. It doesn't exist today. What conversational AI is today is the ability to ask free-form questions and get free-form answers back along a very specific subject. It's effectively a bit of an idiot savant, where a conversational AI may know lots about your business, your specific details, but doesn't know anything off that course. Okay. The guts of all of this is the machine learning. It's the neural net that's running in the background. Neural nets, machine learning, is not anything new. Neural nets have been around for 35 years, probably. What's new is that we now have the processing capacity to be able to use them commercially. But machine learning, those neural nets, it's really a commodity. You can buy them from many, many different places. You can get them from Amazon or Google or IBM or Microsoft or a wide variety of other providers. They may understand general language. I'm sure if you have Alexa or Google Home, you can say, play me the song Alexa, and Alexa can parse that and do something. But it's very limited in its understanding. A machine learning from Alexa, as an example. The example I use, if my 10-year-old daughter was listening to this webinar, she would understand every word that I'm saying, but she wouldn't have a clue to what I'm talking about. So the machine learning is a commodity. The value is in the data that you use to train that conversational AI or the NLP AI. The value is in the interactions that you have that you can use to train that AI, train the neural network to do the things you need it to do specifically for your business. Okay. Upstream work, as a contact center provider, we're not a bot provider. We are an agent desktop, and our focus is to allow people to bring your own bot. You can choose the bot that you want to use. What we do is we bring it into the contact center. We bring it into the contact center and make it operational with all the other things that you're trying to do in a contact center. And we help you deal with that with a good agent experience and deliver the information to the agent that the bot has been having, and to provide you the management information you need to manage that bot and the data that you need to be able to train that bot. One of the things we've been doing for years with our product is we collect something called the contact reason detail. It's a process we go through for every implementation. This is intent in the world of AI. That is the intent of the interaction. So what you're doing is you are collecting transcripts of chats or emails or even voice recordings that are all dealt with by an agent, and they are reviewed, and an intent is added on to those interactions by the agent. So that gets stored, and what you end up with is actually that intellectual property. That's the training data that you need that has been reviewed and validated, that you can then use to train a back-end neural network to develop an AI that is specific for your business. So some of the use cases for these chatbots, and chatbots is one of them. I submit, though, if you have a lot of voice traffic, which most people still do, you may want to use that same technology behind your IVR system, so that instead of people typing with a chatbot, they may be speaking with a chatbot that runs behind your IVR. The requirements for the technology are the same, and the requirements for your customer experience are the same. The customer dealing with that bot needs to be able to get past the bot if the bot can't solve the problem, and you need to be able to manage the bot like all your other assets. And a chatbot, in any shape or form, is a peer of your contact center agents from a management point of view. From a customer, from their viewpoint, if they're dealing with a chatbot or they're dealing with an agent, they're dealing with your organization to receive service. So those are peer elements. Another use of chatbots is as a virtual assistant. So putting those actually on the desktop so that the customer is talking with an agent or chatting with an agent, and the agent is getting advice and guidance from a chatbot, or just simply reviewing the responses that the chatbot is sending out. The danger with chatbots today and the term will come up later, but there's a bit of magic to them. They're very complicated, and when they're right, and when they're wrong, they're typically spectacularly wrong. You hit the long tail, and they say really dumb things sometimes. So it's good to make sure that your training is good, and one way of doing that is to run it past agents who continually monitor that before you roll it into production. The other area you can use the same AI technology is in back-end processing. How do I route chats to the right place? How do I do process automation in the background? How do I do predictive modeling to understand that a customer is coming into a chatbot, or maybe a customer has talked to a chatbot, and therefore in future I want to contact them outbound for some offer that I've got. So using that information across the board, the AI that you're using there has a wide variety of different applications. What ties all this together is the data. The data is the important piece. Having the customer experience, agent experience data across the organization, across the enterprise for all the different channels in a consistent, normalized format with intent is what chatbots need to learn. It's what chatbots need to deal with. It's how you deliver escalations from a chatbot to an agent, or from one chatbot to another chatbot. And by the way, that's a valid business model where customers are on a web page, they're talking to one chatbot, which is an idiot savant and trained about X, and they ask a question about Y. They may in the background be transferred to a second chatbot, right? Think about that. That chatbot needs the same context. It's a peer of the agent, needs to know what's going on. And then when you have all that information, you can start using the insights that you're getting to provide information to the agents, to provide information back to the chatbots. I look at it this way. If you've got all of the normalized data that chatbot is giving you, and from all the interactions that the agents are getting, because they're all peers, so they get the same information, you can start to use all that information to strategically figure out what interactions should I move to a chatbot. You would want to look and say, hey, interactions that are short, that are resolved right the first time, most of the time, and that we get a lot of, those are good things to move into a chatbot. So that data is going to help you determine what you should move into a chatbot. But further, once the chatbot is dealing with those interactions, is it dealing with them properly? How do you know that? How do you know if a chatbot is resolving an issue unless you've got the management capabilities around how to manage that chatbot? So what's driving bot implementations? Well, 70%, this is the earlier number, it's cost reduction, folks. People are not, I don't think any company is looking at putting in a chatbot because customers are saying, oh, chatbots are really cool, I just want to deal with a chatbot. It's cost reduction. But you really still need to focus in this day and age on the customer experience. And a chatbot gives you the ability to offload some of that cost and done properly to maintain a good customer experience with your customers. So what do you need for that good customer experience? Well, context awareness. If with Upstream Works, for example, as you may know, when an interaction comes to an agent, the agent has that interaction history and can make determinations, understand that the customer may have called 5 times about the same thing. The customer may be shopping or fishing for information for a phishing attack. The agent has all that information. The chatbot should have all that same information. And if the customer is going into a chatbot and requesting things or making interactions or doing things, and then they end up dealing with an agent later on, again, the chatbot is a peer of the agent, so the agent wants to know all about that chatbot interaction. They want to know that they were on the chatbot and then they had to phone in to resolve the issue. Or they want to know that the customer wants the agent to know that I've just spent 5 minutes talking with the chatbot back and forth. It's now escalated me to an agent. I don't want to explain everything again to the agent. So I want all that experience data brought in. And this is where Upstream Works adds value. Self-service validation I hit on earlier, and this is not about validating who the customer is. This is about what should be delivered into the chatbot, and then is it working? I'm a big believer in first contact resolution and the flip side of that, which is the agent solve rate. Why wouldn't you use that to manage a bot? When people put a bot out there, they go through a program, they do some testing. How do they know if it's working? How do they know that customers are having a good experience, that things are getting resolved? And if customers are going to the bot and exiting the bot and then clicking another button to have a chat, which is a bad implementation, but a lot of people do it, or phoning you or emailing you about the same thing because they didn't get the answer. How do you know that? Well, if you can correlate all this information, you can start to understand how the bot is performing and know specifically what you need to address and how you need to fix it. Now, machine learning, there is an element of magic about it. And by magic, I mean these neural networks, they are very, 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 very complicated. They're simple in layout, but once they start learning, they start figuring things out themselves. They are really, really complex. And if you train it wrong, you can't recover from it. And I know a story of one organization that had a bot that ended up being trained slightly wrong. So what they did is they had a big meeting and figured out, we're going to throw this sort of invalid data into it to correct the training issue, and it just broke. They basically had to throw the thing out and start over again. When you're using AI, one of the things you have to understand is that it will do things. You will not be able to say, why did that happen? Because it's very, very difficult to find out why a bot did what it did. All you can really do is manage the outcomes, understand that when a bot gets to an area that is not clear of, it should escalate to an agent, and then really train so that you've got the best shot possible with good data to make sure it's doing the right things. Another way of helping it train is with the agent assistant, so that the agent actually is helping train that bot, and it's helping the agent as it goes before you roll the bot out into production. And another thing you can do with this magic is this remote process automation, a robotic process automation, where now an agent says, oh, we have to do an address change. The bot then understands, hey, I got to go update 5 applications, but it's going to be magic to everybody who looks at it because no one's really going to know why it's doing what it's doing. You just have to train it the right way so that you know, hopefully it's going to do the right thing. So what we bring to the table at Upstream is the data to be able to use with these and the dynamic customer experience and agent experience. So rather than having a standalone bot as a net new silo in your contact center, the omni-channel view of it says you take information that is personalized, informed, and you can use that to start to deliver that bot information to the agent information to the bot, and understand exactly what's going on and how do I best solve this customer experience. You make it effortless and convenient. I alluded earlier to, and I've seen bots where you can talk with a bot, and when the bot can't handle it, then you literally go somewhere else to talk to an agent. I've seen bots where you talk to the bot and the bot can't handle it, and it will seamlessly escalate to the agent who says, how can I help you? And this goes back to the old IVR CTI issue where, hey, I typed in my credit card number, and then it goes to an agent and they say, what's your credit card number? Because they didn't have CTI, they weren't getting the information. Key to this, anything that goes in the bot, never forget, it needs to go to the agent. It needs to show up as an interaction with the bot. It is a peer. So it is no different than if I deal with a contact center and I talk to agent 1 and I have to be transferred to agent 2. It's a transfer, and it should be treated similar to that. And then when you have this information, you can start to use it to be proactive and predictive from your contact center, delivering information over to a marketing group who can then start feeding that information out to customers, and also feeding that information back to the bot. So it may say, oh, proactively, I want to engage with this customer on the website, because you can start driving that with bots as well. So Upstream works for Finesse, which is our product. We are an agent desktop application, and the thing that we do is we take all those disparate components that people want to use in their contact center, but tend to drive over each other and get into the way of each other for a seamless agent experience. And we make that go away. So we bring all that stuff in so that agents can have a good experience with one desktop, regardless of what you're trying to do with that desktop, taking all of the data from your interactions and any of the bots that you might be using and harmonizing that so you've got one consistent data source, and then using that data to fulfill what I call the omni-channel hierarchy of needs, which is A, to be able to strategically understand what do I want to do with my contact center and my business, and then to be able to use that information to be able to manage everybody in the contact center or all the assets in my contact center, including chatbots, in a consistent and seamless fashion. And then to take that same data and to operationalize it. So now I can start to use it in how I deal with things in my contact center, to use it to provide context to the agents so that they can now visually see, hey, here's what's going on, get some clues in terms of what I need to be doing about it. And then last but not least, of course, adding in some channels to be able to support all this stuff. So quick summary, bots are efficient and done properly, have a really good ability to deliver high quality customer service. However, you've got to understand it's got to be targeted and specific with what you want to do. It's got to have good intent and training, and it's got to have the ability for that customer still to talk to an agent when they want to. But done properly, it will give you a pretty good increase in your operational and management efficiency, your human efficiency, and it's going to help you accelerate your automation because you're normalizing all that data. And if you do screen pop for an agent, wouldn't it be great if the bot could use that same screen pop without additional investment? So that helps you get a faster ROI and better automation. So that's all I've got. I did want to point out we do have a new partner portal that's up. It's been receiving some rave reviews from our partners at partners.upstreamworks.com. There's a ton of information up there. If you have any more questions about chatbots or more specifically how to operate a chatbot within a contact center and how UpstreamWorks helps in that area, certainly feel free to reach out to myself or any of our salespeople. With that, I will let you get back to your afternoon. I appreciate you spending the time with me today. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.